Welcome to the M2 podcast. I am your host, Mad Mike. This is episode 7, I believe, on season 3. My co-host here is Mr. JK Heath.
Yeah,
Kyle
that's
Heath.
me. Hi.
Sir Rebob it is. All right. This is the show where we cover your esports and personalities, some gaming industry related news, new and upcoming games, and also some technology and innovation of the week. So without further ado, Kyle, what do you have for us today?
Oh, boy, do I have some stories. We have PSVR2 stuff, more news following up on that. We have Bethesda dropping their launcher that they've had for years now in
Mm-hmm.
favor of Steam. We have new game announcements. Street Fighter 6 got announced this week. The Twitch integration within Xbox has been improved tremendously in a recent update. PS5 is selling like hotcakes compared to the Series X. Both selling well. However, we'll be talking about PS5 is nearly double the Series X numbers right now in terms of sales. We have some news about 100 Thieves Valorant team that came out this week for those that follow esports. Some quick drops and quick ads from that team. And then the top story of the week will be about Activision talking about Call of Duty and dropping the yearly releases. So there's a lot to unpack there. Anyways, first story is PSVR2. We finally have a first look at the headset, what we're going to be looking at. And it's looking pretty futuristic, might I say.
Yep.
It's definitely, certainly different from the first iteration. There are some similarities, though, and I think there's certainly some improvements as we talked about the specs, weeks ago now. There's certainly improvements with this one, and it looks as though it's a little slimmer almost to me. And a big thing that I noticed too, right off the bat, is it's not wireless, and that was evident by one wire that's hanging right off the back. And there was I saw some talk on Twitter too of people being like, "Come on, where's the wireless VR headset? It's 2022. Who knows if this? I'm sure it's going to come out this year. It's probably not going to be delayed till 2023. But like, where's the wireless PlayStation? Come on." So that was certainly a talking point. But what are your initial thoughts after seeing all this, Mike?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, it looks pretty similar to the first rendition of it, the regular VR one.
Yeah,
Um, it looks pretty cool. It actually reminds me of Ready Player One, if you've ever watched that.
yeah, a while ago, but yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's futuristic, it's pretty cool, but I agree. I mean, it needs to be wireless. That's like that could be a hazard if people are playing some pretty intense games
yeah.
where they're like spinning around. I could definitely walk away and like rip it out of my computer or my PlayStation.
If you're not careful, yeah. I mean, and
Oh,
it's
for
not like we
sure.
don't have that technology, right? With the Quest 2, like completely wireless, and I hear it's a great headset. So that technology is definitely there, and I don't know if PlayStation just doesn't want to look into it or if there's other factors, but certainly maybe one disappointment so far out of the announcement. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Looking at the controllers, they look as it looks the joysticks look the exact same as the DualSense controller. So, but yeah, the controllers certainly look very similar in terms of the type of just again from the joysticks. Like I was saying, you can tell like right off the bat, it's just like a PS5 controller split apart essentially. Um,
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah, not. I don't think there was really too much else I saw. There was a statement from the senior art director talking about the headset and their areas of focus, kind of how they wanted to play with the new system. So certainly a lot of detail in the blog post, but obviously I think just looking at the images, it's you can tell a lot. It almost looks like I don't know if these are switches, like volume switches or microphones. It looks like there's cameras. What almost looks like 4 cameras that are pointing outside the front of the headset there. So sure, probably to see surrounding areas, whatnot, get a sense of the room. So looking pretty interesting. Certainly a lot of similarities and a lot of differences between this and the first.
Yeah, there are a couple of things. So on the PlayStation blog that came out back in January, we might have covered this before, but for people that didn't hear it, I mean, this headset's gonna have a whole host of different features on it. I mean, probably the coolest thing is if anybody's ever picked up or used a PS5 controller, the dual sense on it, like the vibration, the way they like integrate you into the game and trying to make it like what's it called? Um like when you get like into a game, like consumed into the game. Uh I can't think of the word right now for some reason. But they have a VR sense, VR2 sense is what they're calling it, and that's what the two like nunchucks are kind of like.
Hmm.
And it's supposed to be pretty interactive with the gameplay. They also have eye tracking within the headset, so you could simply just like veer your eyes left or right. And eye tracking software is crazy expensive.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like so that actually could be like a power demand. Maybe that's why there's a cable. I don't know. But they also have an OLED screen, goes up to 4K HDR, 110 degrees
yeah,
um, field of view. So it's not a joke. It's
yeah. Definitely not.
pretty high tech. Um, I don't know. Is this something that you would get?
Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think I eventually do want to get a VR headset of some kind. Whether it's a PlayStation one, I don't know.
Mhm.
I think the fact, at least, I don't know if this would work with PC at all. I don't believe the first one did. I don't know if they're trying to change that with a new one, but I think for me, if I was to go VR, I'd probably get a PC headset. Um, so I think I will definitely get a VR headset at some point, but I don't know about a PlayStation VR personally.
Yeah. Yeah, they're one little tidbit that PlayStation is aware of and looks like they're gonna actually look into is adding vibration on the headset,
Which would be
which would be
that's
wild.
that would be so crazy. Oh my goodness.
Imagine playing an FPS game and then somebody gets a headshot on you.
Dude, I almost feel like you can't do that. Like that's too like I don't
It's
know.
too much.
It's
It
too
might be
much,
too
man.
much.
Yeah, it might be too much. I think for FPS anyway, it'd be too much. Or if like, you're playing
Yeah.
a racing game or something, you're like, oh man, I can't even think of the possibilities with that. Um,
It's wild.
yeah,
Wild.
definitely wild.
But I'm looking forward to it. This is definitely something that um the technology is definitely there, right? Like
Hmm.
VR headsets and VR integration, like all that kind of stuff. But it's something that for me I want to actually experience, you know? Like I
Yeah,
want to test it out before I go and purchase.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm sure well, I don't know. There may be samples at probably at certain stores you could try. I know that was certainly a thing with HTC Vive at like Microsoft stores and stuff, so who
Mhm.
knows? Maybe trial somewhere. But definitely looking forward to it. See we'll see what comes out. I'll be curious to see gameplay and stuff too, and the types of games that come out of that are just strictly produced for this. So we'll see. Um moving on, we have Bethesda
Good
dropping
old
a
Bethesda.
good old Bethesda dropping a bomb this week, saying that they are dropping their native launcher, their Bethesda launcher, in favor of a return to the Steam platform. They pulled this article from PC Gamer. Um, Essentially goes on, launcher debuted in 2016, initially as a home for Bethesda and its, I guess, plethora of studios to host their games on. And it was functionally, article says it's functionally it was bare bones. It was designed to be more of a pretty interface to purchase Bethesda games than a way of actually managing them. So, um, and a big proponent too was obviously developers they could cut, especially on PC, they could cut a lot of the Steam cost of listing your game because Steam, of course, gets a cut. So
Yeah.
they ditched that 30% cut. At least what the article says. So it's definitely was also an incentive for trying to make their own launcher. But they ultimately came out with a statement this week saying that as of April, they're going to be taking this launcher away and moving back to Steam entirely. There was also some other things they were saying, especially for like Fallout 76 players, they're going to take extra precautionary steps to ensure that everything carries over in terms of saves and progression and whatnot with the move, because I'm sure they have to shift a lot of that infrastructure over. So certainly a lot of work ahead of them, but by April, the Bethesda launcher will be no more. I mean, what do you think, Mike? Did you use the Bethesda launcher at all?
I can't say that I did, but I did know like it wasn't just Bethesda. There were a couple of developers that were trying to leave Steam overall to because of that 30% cut. Sometimes with the indie developers, it was nearly impossible for them to make like a profit. So they were just avoiding Steam altogether and going with like a different launcher similar to like Microsoft or Epic Games. And I think that's one of the major reasons why Epic Games had their own launcher. So this is it's kind of interesting how Bethesda left Steam to create their own launcher to avoid the fees, but are now going back.
Yeah.
Um, did they mention exactly why?
I do believe there was a FAQ on a blog post. There was definitely an FAQ about the Fallout 76 for that
Right.
community. Kind of discussing, how they'll keep playing. And again, as the article mentioned, they're taking every precaution to make sure that's good. In terms of why though, I'm not sure I saw the real reason why. And I don't even know if they detailed fully as to why they were leaving.
Yeah,
But it's
I'm looking at the FAQ right now, and it doesn't really show why. All it says is what will happen when you do switch, because most people are worried about their Bethesda accounts.
yeah.
But when you log into the game, even if it's on Steam, you would still have to log into your account. So they're just getting rid of the launcher. They're not getting rid of your account.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Yeah, I don't
mm,
know. It's definitely a question mark, right? I mean, it's I certainly I'll be honest, whenever the launcher first came out, I wasn't like a huge fan of having yet another launcher on my computer, like if I'm being
yeah.
honest. So, and the fact that it's going away, I guess for the consumers, I think in the long run may be a good thing. Um, but it's certainly odd that it kind of just, out of nowhere they're just ditching it. I guess it just wasn't profitable. That's the only thing I can think.
Yeah, you might be right. A lot of people, I know, I mean, just my experience with myself and my like friends, I don't think any of us really like having 5 different launchers,
Yeah,
you
definitely
know?
not.
It's like some games require their own launcher, and it's like, I only wanna play this one game, I don't wanna play anything else. So,
Yeah, I
I
think
guess
it
going that route, it makes sense.
right. Yeah, it certainly I think falls in that category. And again, I think with the consumer in the long run, it'll be good. Kind of won't say I'm sad to see it go because honestly, I maybe only used it for like Fallout 76 and that was it. Like everything else was either
Yeah.
Steam or even Game Pass. Like a lot of these games are on Game Pass and you just get it through the Xbox launcher, right? So it's like
Yep.
definitely don't need that. Definitely don't need the launcher if you're on Game Pass. So that's probably also factoring into maybe the plethora of reasons as to why they would probably get rid of this. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so sad to see it go, but it is what it is, I guess, huh?
I mean, it's just the state of the business, the
Yeah,
gaming industry.
definitely. All right. Street Fighter 6 was announced this week. They even had a short teaser trailer um on the YouTube channel.
I
Um
saw it too. I'm kind of excited, it looks cool.
yeah, definitely does look cool. It looks good. It'll be interesting to see the route they take. I think from what I was reading, um there's certainly a different approach, I think, at least to the art style that they're taking for on this upcoming game. Um So fans are certainly excited. They haven't, of course, announced a release date or anything yet. They just put out that teaser. They said more news is going to come summer of 2022. This article that I pulled for this was from Polygon. They also went on to explain that they announced a new retro fighting game compilation titled Capcom Fighting Collection, which will be released on Switch, PC, PS4, Xbox One on June 24th of this year.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything. They released a little trailer for that as well, and just kind of skimming through it. Seems to be pretty much like the old Street Fighter games for the most part, that kind of art style, and kind of just taking all the old ones and shoving them into one package. So
Yeah, it's a good old, like, for the fans,
yeah,
bring it
exactly.
back for the fans. That's what that's about.
Yeah, definitely. There's a bunch. There's even some games in here I haven't even heard of. So it's like it's all like the little games and I guess all the old major ones. Um, Certainly
Yeah,
a fun trailer
there are a
though.
couple I haven't seen in a long time on this
Yeah,
list. But I mean, it's pretty cool overall.
Yeah.
I love it when developers are able to do this. Like Rare would be probably the other big one that I can think of when they
Mhm.
did a whole Rare collection when they got bought by Microsoft. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of a similar vein there. But it's looking pretty interesting, especially if you're a Street Fighter fan. I think it's gonna be great. It'll be a great little package, and it'll hold you over till the new game comes out, which who knows when that's gonna arrive. Um, the article also they actually list here the full list of the little collection that they're having. Um, Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior, and Savior 2. A lot of these titles I haven't heard of personally, but
I've heard of
sure.
Cyberbots, Red Earth, Hyper Street Fighter 2, and uh, Darkstalkers actually.
Hmm, nice. Um, nice little collection there. But yeah, so Street Fighter fans get excited, man, because you have a brand new title around the corner.
Yep.
As
And did I don't think we mentioned that there was a data leak back in 2020 about how Street Fighter 6 was supposed to be coming out this year, this quarter, or this third quarter of the year.
oh, okay.
But yeah, but it's apparently not going to be pushed out, or it's been pushed out for further news to be coming out this summer. So I'm sure the last year and a half to 2 years has kind of pushed all the deadlines back for Street Fighter 6. But I mean, the graphics look amazing.
Yeah.
But we got to see
Uh,
that gameplay first. It's just a teaser, you know.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So
It's definitely just a teaser. So, um, hopefully the news that comes this summer is some gameplay along with said news, which I'm sure we'll see.
mhm.
I'm sure it'll come out in Summer Games Fest or whatever summer announcements come along. Because with the E3 thing, who knows? I don't know if there's been any news on if they're having the digital show or not. I can't remember for E3, but here's to hoping that there's something. But yeah, more info this summer on Street Fighter 6. Now, this was an article that came across my desk, so to speak, today. When I was looking around on the Discord. Xbox gamers can now stream from Twitch from the console dashboard. It seems that Twitch has pushed out an update so that Xbox users who stream directly from console can simply click a button in their console dashboard and go live. There's also a whole I guess range of other functionality that was added. It says that this new integration is smart enough to automatically pause your feed, change your show titles if you switch games, and you can decide whether or not you want viewers to hear your party chat. Your Xbox friends can also choose to receive alerts when you go live on Twitch, I guess directly natively on the Xbox, which is pretty cool. And article also goes on to say that you can link your Twitch account. You have a go live now option. Immediately start broadcasting. You have access to streamer friendly options, including bitrate, resolution, title, and separate audio levels for your game and microphone. So this is all on the console. It's pretty interesting stuff. I don't know. Have you? I know I've watched some streams from Xbox directly. It's kind of like every time I see an Xbox stream, it's like kind of like it's not really the best quality. I mean, what are your thoughts on Xbox streaming in general? Like,
Well, Xbox streaming is the second way I've ever streamed. So, brief history,
okay,
especially for you. When Justin.tv, before Twitch was Twitch, it became Justin.tv. That's where I made my first account back in like 2008. Shows my age. We used Dazzle capture cards, which you had to split your VGA cables, which are your red, yellow, and white.
white, yeah.
Yeah, red, white, and yellow. Yeah, split those. One goes in the capture card. It's a USB connection. Then you had to stream through there. So you're streaming like 480p, and I was doing that on like original Xbox. And then 360 became the next one, and then eventually like the technology progressed. So that's the first way I started streaming. Didn't last long. Second way was when, and this article mentions it, is Mixer. Mixer and Microsoft had a partnership for a very long time I didn't have a good enough computer to stream, so I used Mixer software. And if anybody's ever used Mixer before, especially on Xbox, the system that Twitch is now integrated or Microsoft integrated Twitch with is basically what Mixer was. So you could plug in like you can probably do it on this Twitch integration because I see an option for cameras. But basically, use your USB, regular USB like webcam, plug that into one of your Xbox ports, and then you can choose which region of your screen you want to have your camera on. You could also have while you're broadcasting, you can also show the chat on your screen. You can show how many people are watching you. So it's like it's super fascinating. But it makes me question Microsoft originally had the deal with Mixer, right? Mixer was sold or technically I guess bought by Facebook. Why wouldn't Microsoft just integrate with Facebook?
That's a
You
good
know?
question. Wow.
Because Twitch had the integration app for a while, but it was scuffed. It just
Yeah.
you didn't have enough options. It was like you can only show your gameplay and people can only hear you and hear the game. And you had to make sure your mic was actually like connected to your controller and stuff like that.
Um, and the audio
Yeah.
was sometimes desynced. I mean, like
Yeah, it's
oftentimes desynced.
really
It was bad,
it,
dude.
all the time.
Every time I did an Xbox stream, it was like there was like at least 2-3 seconds of delay between the audio and
Mhm.
the video.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean to me like it's not really that surprising that it's happening about the Mixer integration because I used or the Twitch integration because I used Mixer originally. So there are a lot of things that I mean it's good for people that want to try streaming for the first time, but it's also if you're trying to stream in a serious manner, like make money off of this is not the way to go.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go capture card route.
Yeah.
There's much better, much more sustainable. That's the right word. Routes.
Yeah, sustainable, yes. But if
Um,
you're trying to show your friends something cool like a new game, definitely do that.
yeah, right. Like just do this.
Definitely stream
Yeah.
it, send your buddy or send your buddy the link and just be like, "Hey, check this out. Like, come check it out."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. The article also mentions that Mixer, which I this is crazy to me now, but Mixer's almost 2 years ago is when it shut down.
yep.
That's so crazy to me.
Yep, it's crazy.
Unbelievable, man. Time is flying by. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully console streaming, if I'm just like poking around on Twitch and I find a console stream on Xbox, hopefully it's better off now. So we'll see.
Oh, I got a story. So if anybody's actually looking for something more convenient and you have a PC, you can stream your gameplay. You know how the xCloud works and stuff like that? You can play your console on your PC. So I've seen people actually stream their console to their PC and then capture the gameplay on their PC instead. Like that was the
yeah,
original workaround to get it to work on Twitch without a capture card.
yeah,
But it required way too much bandwidth and really
yeah,
good internet.
yeah. I can imagine. Jeez.
Yeah, but side story. But overall, I mean, I'm not too surprised that Xbox is integrating Twitch. Um, surprised they're not integrating YouTube or Facebook or anything like that yet. I
Yeah,
think that's probably the next few steps.
yeah. And who knows? I mean, we may see that in the future. Especially if this is an improvement at all over what they had before. Originally, then yeah, I think we'll definitely see other sites jump in. On the party, but.
Mhm.
But good news, man. If you're trying to stream from a console, you may have a good option here if you don't
Definitely.
have capture card. So definitely give it a look if you have you have an Xbox console. It says here it's Xbox Series S and X and Xbox One. Although the older consoles, I don't know how well it would look. To be honest.
Probably where the delays are coming
Yeah, probably
in
like
audio.
the old like
Desync.
VCR Xbox, probably.
Yikes.
Anyway, speaking of consoles.
Yep.
We saw, I read into an article this week. It talks about the PS5 has sold nearly double the number of units that the Xbox Series X has. This is according to analyst estimations. Sold over twice the amount of that. Article goes on to say the figures were released by the NPD group. I'm not sure who that is, if I'm being honest. But they said the PS5 is the best-selling console in January 2022. console has shipped over 17.3 million units, with the Ampere research director Piers Harding rules estimating that 17.1 million units have reached consumers. I'm assuming that's like, I don't know if that's maybe post scalp numbers. Is that I don't wonder if that's a counting amount of consoles that have gotten scalped. Because maybe there's like 0.2 million that are still like that probably quote unquote haven't reached consumers because of scalping. I don't know how that figure works. The estimations also revealed that the PS5 has not only outsold the Wii U's lifetime sales, but also moved nearly twice the number of units that Microsoft's consoles have. Estimated that this Xbox Series console family has cumulatively sold 10.3 million units. Analysts also noted that a majority of these sales figures consisted of Xbox Series S consoles, as a less powerful console proved to be the much easier to get a hold of than the Xbox Series X. So, I don't know, real surprise there, I don't think. I mean, Series X is certainly that only makes sense, right? It's a less powerful console, more people are going to buy it. Just kind of like, it kind of makes sense, you know. People are going to go. I mean, it's not a bad console by any means either, so, you know, full respect to people that go with the Series S.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more affordable too. It's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, I mean, overall, the PS5 doubling the sales of the Xbox Series X. I mean, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, Microsoft is kind of splitting up their sales markets, right,
Yeah.
between two consoles, whereas PlayStation 5 has the one. But twice as much. I mean, that's kind of wild to me. I think that's partially to do with like availability, and then the other thing is like everything that's on Xbox now you can get on PC.
Yeah.
There is no like exclusivities, like air quotes, on Xbox anymore. Whereas PlayStation has all the major stories that like I want to play. Those are starting to integrate to PlayStation now. Shout out God of War.
Mhm.
Not PlayStation, but PC now. So I mean, it's kind of wild,
Yeah.
but it's not like you said. It's not too surprising because you can split it between the two consoles.
Yeah. Definitely not. I mean, yeah, I think the fact that PS5 has outsold, I mean, because this estimation was 10.3 for Xbox and 17.3 for PS5. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
7 million.
it's a huge margin there. Like,
That's no joke.
yeah, it's definitely no joke. So I don't know. I don't know what factors into that. I mean, I think certainly the exclusives coming out on PlayStation, at least for someone like me, are more exciting. And I mean, from these figures, I feel like it kind of helps prove that there's probably some more exciting stuff coming out of that console than the
Yeah.
Xbox. And that's not to discount the Xbox, 'cause it's a great piece of hardware. But there is certainly a pretty stellar lineup of games that are going to be coming to the PS5 in the next year or two. So definitely a huge margin. Sony is taking the lead there with that.
Yeah, no kidding. I think one of the factors is I always felt like PlayStation, like fanboys and like consumers are a little bit more like they're more hardcore for the brand.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. Like that's just what I see on the internet. That's like interactions with people. It's like when it comes to PlayStation, it's like I love PlayStation. When it comes to Xbox, people are like, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll get it. It's like it's not serious. It's like I'm saving up for a PC. It's like yeah,
Yeah.
of course you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely diehard fans on both ends of the spectrum,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, for
For
sure.
sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I just
it's
think one's
there,
louder.
but yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree. Um, so yeah, Sony's killing it, man.
Yeah,
They
they're
just,
doing well.
you know, these consoles just need to get out of the whole, like, you know, chip shortage thing, and then we can start cranking out more and getting some more
Yeah,
units out without them getting
right.
scalped.
Prices are coming down on GPUs now, and starting to normalize a little bit, and CPUs a little bit. Hopefully it continues because I'm looking at some GPUs and it's looking tasty.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know. The prices of all those, it's like, it's crazy. I mean, the GPU market, I mean, it's, you know, there was reports last month of prices, you know, starting to be on a downtrend, which is great,
yep,
especially for that. And that's, I'm sure, only going to improve. I don't think it's fingers crossed. I don't think there's anything that could make that go back up. So I guess we'll see. But
famous last words.
famous last words. Mark my words. They're gonna get cheaper, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just predicting it now. You know, gotta put it out there. Speak it into existence. Next article comes from comes from .esports, where I got this article. First of all, I have to say .esports, the ads are killing me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, the ads are bad.
You have like a banner ad down here. You got this ad. Sometimes you have a video that plays. I'd like get the video. It was really weird when I was first opening this earlier. It was like, I mean, yeah, there's this video that like will follow you if you. It's crazy.
First time.
This website.
Oh, it does follow you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I had to turn that off, but yeah.
What browser are you using?
This is
Looks like
Chrome.
you're using Chrome.
Yeah,
get off it.
Get off Chrome.
Shout out Firefox. I don't have these ads that are like all consuming right now.
Listen, Chrome for life, baby. I'll say it here first.
Yeah. Okay.
Although Edge is pretty good. Anyway, okay, enough browser talk. 100 Thieves.
Okay,
Edge,
sorry. Go ahead.
Chromium Edge isn't bad. All right. We'll have a whole show on that. All right, Mike. On browser debate, we can have a whole show on that.
Start a tier list. You weren't around for Netscape. That's how it's gonna start.
I'm gonna write this down because that's a good concept idea if we don't have anything to talk about. But thankfully we do this week. 100 Thieves Valorant team. They actually released 2 of their players, Baby J and oh man, I don't know how you say it.
EC1S.
EC1S. I'm just gonna say that. Sorry.
Yeah, just spell it.
After just 2 matches, they released these 2 players and actually picked up 2 contracted players from other teams, Bang and JC Stanny, which the article explains they're 2 players from the TSM. I think Bang's from TSM and JC is from Pioneers. Picked them up as contracts. But this is after 2 matches. 2 matches, Mike. They just said, Nate Shot was like, I'm done. We need to win. And they just, this was after, keep in mind, this was after, on February 11th, 100 Thieves put out a tweet saying, we're back in Valorant, baby. Here's our squad. Bang, bang, bang. Here's all the players. They're like, yo, we're ready to go. And then they joined a tournament. And it didn't look so good. They got 13-0 shutout by Ascent on one of the games. It was not looking good for that roster. And it's it was so bad that Nate Shot, he did go to Twitter and he said pretty much after the loss, he said the performance was absolutely unacceptable from us. Not much else to say, just can't happen, period. And then he also went on. He made another tweet after that to kind of explain that a little bit more and flesh it out, because that's just kind of like a hard, like, we suck statement. It's like,
oh yeah.
So we went on to talk about that. And then this came out, this is the 20th, he made this tweet and made the other tweet, and then literally the next day he posted a Twitter video saying, we're dropping these 2 players and picking up 2 subs, essentially, I guess, until they find the permanent roster. Or maybe if this one works, I don't know, they'll keep out the loans longer, I don't know how it works. But yeah, I mean, this is 2 matches. I mean...
That's crazy.
It's crazy to me. I mean...
It's tough. It's tough. Because... I read a couple of the things that Nadeshot said, and you said it wasn't due to performance of the 2 specific players that he dropped, which I think to me is even worse. I'd rather be dropped because it's like I choked, you know? I don't want to be dropped because it's like I don't like you as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that, like, what else is there?
I mean, yeah. That's just what I was going to say is like, you don't just drop 2 players like that just because they have bad games. Like, you know what I mean? That never happens. Anybody. Like,
bad games happens to anybody.
Right, yeah.
But like to be dropped that quickly, I mean, that's some person. I feel like somebody said something.
Yeah.
That they shouldn't have said.
Yeah, I think something went down. Of course, you know, don't need to read too much into it, I don't think. I mean, but yeah, there's for sure. This was not just performance. I mean, I think Nate Shot's telling the truth there. Like, there was definitely some other stuff that went down, but I mean, 2 games, they're just out of there, and it's like they don't get a chance. I mean, I saw some tweets too from the players that got dropped. They seemed to have good spirits about it. They weren't completely down on themselves from what they said publicly. I'm sure it was still like it still hurt. Like, it's not like it's not something you just brush off probably first day, but yeah, I saw one of the, I think it was Baby J was kind of memeing about it a little bit on Twitter. He posted, it was a picture of himself dressed up as like a scuffed Killjoy from Valorant, and it was like, he's like, if I showed up at the tournament like this, I probably would have gotten dropped. That was a pretty good meme. But yeah, I think they're taking it in stride, I hope. But yeah, something definitely went down, because 2 games, man, if you have 2 bad games, it's 2 bad games. You know, you brush it off, you get better as a team, and you work
Yeah.
on it, you know? So
Yeah, who knows? I don't want to speculate too much, but like if I'm a player and I see the CEO say that performance was absolutely unacceptable from us, not much else to say, just happened. It's like I'd be a little bit tilted,
yeah, I
you
would
know?
too, you know? Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not gonna speculate. I'm just gonna say they got replaced.
Yeah,
That's like really
exactly.
what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
that's all it is, man. You get dropped, and is what it is. I don't know. If they're good enough to get on 100 Thieves, they're probably going to get scouted by someone else. You know, I
Oh
don't think
God,
they're.
yeah.
I mean, unless they like, you know, did something really bad. But I don't know. I suspect they'll probably get picked up by another team, and they'll be on their feet again soon enough, I think. But definitely a crazy couple of weeks for these players. That's to
Oh,
say the least.
yeah, for sure. I'm convinced right now they probably already have like something lined up with another team where they're going to be like a substitute or on the bench or like practice squad kind of setup. I mean, this is Valorant we're talking about. This isn't a joke for an esport.
Yeah.
And then the other thing coming around is like if they got signed to 100 Thieves, the top org in pretty much every like esport that they sign up into, it's like they're going to be like what top 50 in the world of
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
So it's
Probably.
like these guys are going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they will be. Definitely is
Yeah.
a tough break. I mean, you know, just to get dropped after 2 games. Absolute
Yeah, that
wild,
early into the
man.
season though. Yeah, I mean that would hurt.
Yeah, as I know that
That
early into the
would
season,
hurt.
it's like really bad.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
go to comfort food ASAP.
I mean, I've also heard like I don't know too much about the VCT, about how Valorant like Riot does their tournament series, but like from what I had heard, I think from like Nate Shot, he had talked about how there was really only like there's like a major event at the start of the year, and then there's really not a whole lot after that for like 8 or 9 months, and so it's like you kind of have to do well, and then that's how you get in, I guess, to the franchise, even though they don't really do franchise league.
Yeah.
Um, so not really sure how that works, but I'm sure that if that is the case, that probably played into it too about why he just decided to drop, you know, 2 players on the team. Who knows? Full story may come out soon enough, but yeah, it says here the article also says they have a match against Luminosity this coming Sunday, February 27th. So we'll see how the subs see how they
Yeah,
do.
that's one worth watching.
Yeah, I definitely may check that out if I can. See how they end up performing.
Yep.
Um,
Oh,
interesting stuff, man. Craziness.
I mean, it's everywhere now. All the leagues are picking back up. You got Halo running, you got Valorant going. CS:GO was popping off on Twitch. I don't know if you watch CS:GO at all,
I did not.
but yeah, I love like CS:GO is one of those ones I could just go back and watch. I mean, Counter-Strike's been around for like 20 years.
Yeah, no.
So it's
It's
like,
the most consistent game for sure. One of the
oh my
most
God.
consistent in esports.
It's so simple and I love it. By the way, side note, I have a mouse here. You see this? The Razer Viper 8K. Okay?
Mm.
8,000 frequency refresh, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have that thing at 8,000 and you play something like Valorant, it screen tears your
Oh
whole
my
monitor.
goodness.
Yeah, it's like I can whip it and like when you do like quick flicks and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I would go from like I think I capped my frame rate 144 to match my monitor, and I would whip it, and it would just plummet to like 30,
Wow,
and it would do
that is
that all the
surprising.
time. Yeah, and I talked to somebody recently. They were like, "Yeah, just reset it to 1,000
Yeah.
instead of 8K, do 1K." I did that. I loaded it up literally 5 minutes before we got on, and I was like, "It's perfectly fine." So anybody that's playing Valorant and you're getting screen tear and you got the same stupid mouse as me, change it to 1K. It also happens on BF 2042. So
That's crazy,
Battlefield.
man. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mice I've used have always been 1K, and that's always what I've stuck to. I didn't know.
Yeah, I
Dang,
think
that's surprising though. Valorant doesn't have that like optimized or figured out.
yeah.
Especially when mice are getting to the level of 8,000. Good gravy. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've
Can't live
actually
without
been playing a little bit of Valorant too lately. I gotten back into it with some of the boys. Because we had a buddy that just got his first PC, and that was like a game he really wanted to play, so we've been playing that a bunch.
Oh, yeah, watching the streamers, get inspired.
Yeah, someone even got
I'm
back
sure
into it.
that.
I saw him live the other day playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a couple of my buddies were telling me, they're just like, check out all the weapon skins. And they were like bashing Halo Infinite because there hasn't been a lot of new content, like spoiler. So I'm like, all right, well, I've had Valorant. I've played like once or twice during the beta, and apparently they made updates and changed things. So I got on, I was getting screen tearing, and I was getting absolutely bopped. I mean, but granted, I wasn't the worst in the game. That's all that
Well,
matters.
that's all that matters, baby. Just
That
can't be the bottom.
first game in, I think I only got like 7 kills over the course of a whole game, which is not a lot. And then like the other person on the other team got like 4. It's like I think they had something like 50 hours played. It's like, how do you only have that little? So
Yeah,
maybe they're
that's
AFK.
see that's the thing. It's like CS, like you like that's the spectrum of good and bad games is very frequent
Oh,
in a game like
yeah.
Valorant. So it's probably just having a bad game, you know.
Mhm.
Or I catch myself there a couple times, but to double back on the skins are like some of my favorite. I think kind of like any
Crazy.
the gun skins are so good in that game. Um,
Yeah.
definitely
They
expensive, but they're good.
yeah, they're doing it right, I think. I mean, every developer, if any of you are ever listening to this, copy what Psyonix is doing, Rocket League, and Valorant. Those skins that they do is so good.
So good.
So good. And not only that, but like you can earn a lot of them too.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to spend money.
Right.
Sometimes you can just grind it out and you can get it. Takes a lot of grinding, but
Yeah. I mean,
and a
Fortnite.
little bit of lotto.
I think Fortnite let some of that charge too. With the
Yeah.
especially with the
Yeah.
dynamic skins. I think that was kind of like where that and like COD
Mm.
was where that really
Yeah.
like that. And I think Warzone is where that really kind of like the dynamic skins really kind of came to a forefront. So now games are trying to replicate that. But
Yeah,
Valorant
I
has some
think
of that too in some of their skins, which I think also is why a lot of those are so great.
Yeah, I think Valorant got it perfect, but I remember people complaining initially about Call of Duty with their skins making the computer or GPU lag up.
Hmm.
It was like initially. Now it's
Yeah.
completely fine. I don't think there are any complaints at all. And if
Yeah.
anybody found complaints, they just lowered their settings or something, you know?
Yeah. There's always a workaround or that stuff like that's not super
Yeah.
challenging to fix. So
Nope.
it's certainly can be
Thank
done.
goodness.
Anyway, I mentioned Warzone, right? Well, you know
Yeah,
what?
it did.
Time for the top story. Like Call of
The good old
Duty,
top story.
good old top story of the
God.
week.
Yep.
This came originally from good old boy Jason Schreier, the
My man.
the dude when it comes to breaking news on the gaming industry, especially the fantastic journalism over there. He always like finds these insane stories and does these insane exposés. But the one this week from him was about recent breaking news. For the first time in 2 decades, Call of Duty is going to skip a year. Activision has delayed 2023's game made by Treyarch to 2024, according to sources, and I guess some people inside who heard some of the meetings that, as the article at The Verge states, that kind of regurgitated some of the Bloomberg stuff, said that it was people that didn't really want to be named, of course, because they have they have some
NDAs.
NDAs, and they work there. But they did say that is pretty much official that COD is officially breaking the 1-year release cycle, which has been going on since 2005. I know 2003 I think was the first COD.
Yep.
2005 is when they started the yearly release cycle, and that cycle is finally being broken. Exciting stuff, I think, for many reasons. I think if you're a COD fan, this is first and foremost really great. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have gotten used to the yearly release, but
Yeah.
certainly as well, like Activision, they're starting to see, I think, the impact that yearly releases is having on the series. And I think overall they could see it's, especially Vanguard sales did not meet expectations, like by any means. So
yeah,
they're starting to see that COD is like, they need to go back to the drawing board, I think. And so this gives Treyarch the perfect opportunity to kind of bring this series around, and hopefully each COD, you know, will get a year gap between them so they can really focus, or maybe just get a solid game out the door in 2 years and then spend 2 years with each game and really update it and really give it content for 2 years and just focus kind of on that model as opposed to trying to create an entirely new game from the ground up. So definitely a lot to unpack here. Can't remember if I asked you, Mike, were you super into COD at all?
A little bit, actually. Yeah. I would say, when COD first came out, I have a ton of COD games. My, browser just crashed. I actually have them all over here, like original Xbox COD games. Call of Duty 3, 2, Modern Warfare 2. I got them all, and I actually have, the current Modern Warfare, the 2019 version, right? Like, that's my go-to game, aside from CS:GO. Late night games, just playing with your buddy. So, like, my buddy McSlurminator or Max, him and I, we've known each other for ages. That's like our go-to game when we're both on PC. It's like, yo, let's log in, 2 a.m. We should have no business being awake at this time. Let's go ahead and like play for an hour, you know?
No.
It's like that's our go-to game. It's so much fun. 2v2 modes, good time.
Oh, dude. The 2v2 mode in Modern Warfare 2019 was like the most fun
Yes.
I'd had in COD in years when that came
Yes.
out.
The blueprint
God.
mode where you
Yeah.
get all the different guns. Oh man, I'd be
Dude.
bopping, dude. I got clips.
Dude,
For
yeah.
sure.
I had clips too, dude. Me and some of my boys, we would like go in and like I'd play like I think I did the 2v2 playlist with like a few different people. And every person I played with, we just had a ton of fun. It was like so much fun just having these
Yeah.
quick games where it's like you go in, you bop and you leave, you know what I mean?
It's great,
So,
and what's really fun too is, like, the open mic system, like,
oh, dude.
before and at like, when you
Like
die.
the battle chat. I love it.
Oh, yeah, it's the best. I love it. Super toxic,
I
but
know.
that's why you do it at 2 AM, 'cause it's just nothing but, like, a bunch of creatures playing the game at the time.
For real,
So,
man. There's
yeah.
I've had a lot of great memories with COD. You know, back in I guess early 2010s. That was me and my boy Preware, who we may or may not have on the cast soon, to discuss some of that experience and the golden age of COD, I think. We grinded Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2 and all the originals, and those were some of my favorite memories gaming, certainly.
Yeah.
Just being young, not really have anything to worry about, just getting on playing COD, talking trash, you know, good old days. So I think him and I have both kind of been on the same page, especially the past couple of months of like, especially with Vanguard when it came out, it was kind of just like the past few years, I certainly haven't been invested in COD at all. And it's kind of just like
Yeah, neither
what it
have I.
used to be is just not like I like, don't get me wrong, I think the Modern Warfare 2019 engine is fantastic. I think it's
Same.
graphically, I think it's great. And the game still runs pretty fluently, but there's something about the older CODs I just loved. That arcadey shooter style. I felt like it was more, I don't want to say cartoony. There's just something about it that just wasn't, I guess it lacked realism, which I kind of liked.
Classic,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very old franchise. I mean, 20 years.
Yeah.
So, you might be just, a little bit nostalgic, you know? It's really
For
difficult, I
sure.
think, because COD is teetering with just being a Battlefield remake.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
if they
Yep.
get too big, where they have too many people on the game and, like, too big of arenas, it's like, I'd rather just go play Battlefield, not 2042 until they fix it, but you know what I mean? Like, at that point, you might as well just do Battlefield,
Yeah.
and
It's
they
true.
can't do too much arena because then it's like, just go play Halo or Apex, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. And
Um,
that was one thing I liked about Halo, is just the fact that it's close quarters arena. Like, I love that.
yeah,
And so that's what made games like that great. Um, but yeah, I mean, with the new, I think, you know, with an extra year onto the development cycle, I feel like that was, I originally thought whenever they had multiple studios working on COD, so they had Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer Games came in the works around, I think, Advanced Warfare. Those, I made me think, okay, there's 3 studios here. They have 3 years to work on the game. But from what I can see, that wasn't the case. Like, it's kind of
yeah,
just I think they start like whenever the next game came out, the next studio started on it, and they really didn't ramp up production until the previous game was out. Like it's kind of, they probably had some pre-production stuff they would do before like their competition releases a game, but then after that it's like full steam ahead. So they probably only had like a year of like serious, balls to the walls work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're probably right. Like grind set kind of thing.
yeah.
Um, I mean, they're both. It's an organized like franchise, really. Having that many studios, that many people working on it, and all creating something that's like good and successful. Granted, Vanguard didn't meet the sales that they projected. It also, I would say, Vanguard kind of failed when it came to the impressions of big streamers and content creators. It's a very difficult game to create content off of. Um,
Yeah.
like, because I think a lot, like, I've seen a lot of people just straight up switch, go back to the 2019 Warzone,
Yeah.
rather
Oh
go play
yeah.
that than play Vanguard.
Yeah. I mean, Vanguard 2 launched without ranked or any of like,
Yeah,
not a focus really at all on competitive. And like they didn't have a tournament for the first 3 months the game was out. Like it's just, and like, I mean, and even like I've seen, people like Hex talk about like, they try, like they're trying to appeal to the casual player, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, COD is like, even if you're playing casually, you're still like kind of competitive about it, right? Like there's still that incentive where you want to like get a
yeah.
rank or like, get something out of
Rank
playing.
up or like get like some type of experience that unlocks like gun parts and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're always striving for something if you're just
Yeah,
playing like casually. So, you know, I think with a focus, certainly that was lacking with Vanguard, which I think didn't help it, in the short term, but who knows? I mean, I think there's rank play out now. So, I mean, there's,
there is.
yeah, so, they have something now, but, probably,
It's only going to get better,
yeah,
really.
I mean, yeah,
Um, which is probably better for the franchise overall. Like skipping a year, give Vanguard to get to where it needs to be in like a healthy life, I guess.
yeah,
Like get to that point and then give me a new COD where I'm just absolutely amazed by the story.
yeah.
That's really what I love playing COD for.
Oh,
It's like
dude,
I want to
no.
be engulfed in the story.
Yeah, I know. The campaigns were always great. I would always go and play them like first thing. They were just so good, man. And and I don't know. I think I don't know. I didn't see much of Vanguard's campaign. It looked pretty cool from the trailers, but I never saw gameplay or anything.
I
Um,
haven't heard anything about it.
yeah,
So to me, it's like if I'm not hearing it, like I'm not in an echo chamber when it comes to this.
yeah,
Like if I'm not hearing about it, then it's like it can't be. It's not amazing.
yeah,
It
definitely.
just might be so, you know? It's like,
Right,
it's alright, it's
right, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I hope. I think I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic for this year's COD because it's Modern Warfare. It's Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare
Yes.
2019 2, whatever.
Yep.
Um, so then I think Modern Warfare story was really good, at least from what I had heard. So
It was.
so yeah, I think the second one will probably be just as good, if not better. So at least we'll get a good story this year. That's I think something to look forward to. Um, but yeah, definitely going the extra year is gonna be, I think, very beneficial in all facets of development when it comes to COD games. So hopefully they capitalize, man. Hopefully they capitalize.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, um, like I think that was all I had this week. To be honest, I got anything else?
Um, I guess I got a personal question for you. Uh you were last playing a game with Preware, and you guys finally figured out what the problem was.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys continued any further in the story? And remind me what the game was again. It's like brand new.
Yeah. So game was Dying Light 2.
Right.
We played a few hours of that. He had some issues with playing the game due to his. It ended up being due to his friends list.
Yeah.
Steam.
Too many.
Yeah, Destiny 2 had the same problem when it came over to Steam. If you have more than 300 friends on your friends list, for some reason you can't join games. I don't. My brain doesn't compute what could be going wrong there. But yeah, so we were able to play again. We got a few hours in. I will be honest, we haven't revisited the game in probably a week. I definitely want to go back and finish it. I think, especially in kind of our friend group, there was I noticed we were playing, it was kind of like low energy, and no one. I don't know if I think the other guys, they may have been into it. I don't know. It was hard to tell. I mean, it was very like we were playing late, and it was kind of just like weren't really super into it. I don't think any of us were. But I do want to go back and finish the game, obviously, because when I paid $60, I try to beat the game, right?
Yeah, you gotta beat it.
So I mean, regardless of whether it's good or not, I guess we'll find out. But I am definitely gonna revisit it soon, and we're gonna try and beat it. But yeah, we finally got all our issues fixed, which was good. I don't know if Techland actually made a patch regarding that issue of connection, because I know other people were running into that as well. So I guess we'll see in the coming weeks. They are doing a good job of patching some very annoying things quickly that were in the game on launch, like button remapping, and I think there was an issue with there may have been an issue with crashing too initially. If I had heard that they had fixed pretty early. So there's definitely stuff there. They're definitely updating the game, and we'll see where they take it. But I only have probably about, I don't know, 5-6 hours total, maybe 7.
You got to get those numbers up.
Got to get those numbers up. It's at least a 20-hour campaign.
Those are rookie numbers.
Do it. Yeah. Yeah. Also, this past week, I actually saw the Uncharted movie.
Oh, how was that?
The live action movie. It was great. I thought it was pretty good. Has Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg in it. It's a fantastic feature film from Sony. It was a pretty good. It's definitely, compared to the games, it's there's a younger Nathan Drake in the movie than there is in the games, but you still see kind of he's at the start of the movie, he's just a bartender in, I don't know if it's New York, whatever city they're in. Yeah. He's just a bartender. He meets Sully, his partner, in the bar, and he eventually convinces him to go on a great voyage for some treasure. Yeah. I think it was very reminiscent of some of the games. So
yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, Nathan Drake is the main character. Yeah, that you play in the game.
Yep. So yeah, he's also the main character of the movie. You do meet Chloe as well, which is another. I believe she was in the second game. You don't see her until the second game, but she was also a supporting character after the second game. So you see some of the characters from the game. Overall, though, I think it was a very, very lighthearted, funny movie about, adventurers that don't trust each other and kind of learn to trust each other. But in the end, you still don't really know if they fully trust each other. It's kind of that thing. I guess, treasure hunters are never the best group of people to hang out with.
Well, let me ask you this. If I had never played the game and I don't know anything about Uncharted, would I be able to follow the movie?
Yes. Yes, you would.
Okay.
They definitely made it so that they definitely put things in that if you played the games, you will definitely appreciate. But just overall, it's like a funny adventure movie. You could still go and watch it, not know what Uncharted is at all, and I think still get enjoyment out of it for sure. So, but I would definitely recommend playing the games first, because there's a lot of little Easter eggs. There's even the voice actor of Nathan Drake from the video games makes an appearance in the movie at one point, and it's a pretty funny appearance. Cool. So, yeah, so definitely go give it a watch. And definitely play the Uncharted games if you haven't already. Nathan Drake Collection, Uncharted 4. I mean, come on, these games are fantastic, and they're pretty. I think they're at a pretty good price. On
they
PSN.
should all be affordable.
Yeah. Because they're definitely older games, and the remasters are all out there. Too. And I played through them. Gosh, I think it was like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 maybe years ago. I played them. They still hold up today, though. They're very good.
Oh, for sure.
And
they won a bunch of awards too, I think.
Yeah, I still haven't played Lost Legacy, and I think that features Chloe and someone else from the main story. It's kind of like I think a 20-hour side game almost. It's kind of like its own game.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. But yeah, so there's a lot of content there if you're looking for a single player game to play. The fourth one is a masterpiece. I love that game.
Yeah.
It's the graphics are fantastic. The storyline's great. All around, it's a fantastic game. So if you're into video games at all, I recommend playing that because it's just great. But yeah, so definitely go check out the movie too if you're looking for a fun little movie to see. But then again, if you haven't played the games, I would, maybe recommend till it's on a streaming service and then just watch it, with somebody. It'll probably be just as good. Yeah, solid movie, man. Solid movie.
Very good to hear. Get back on Dying Light 2 though.
Yeah, yeah, that's on the calendar.
There's so many on the calendar now. I finally got to knock one off my calendar.
Yeah.
Century Age of Ashes.
Oh yeah. How was that game?
Played as a dragon. It's
Nice.
awesome.
It's all. I mean, you play as a dragon. That sounds amazing.
It's like Crimson Skies or Ace Combat 6. They put you in a big little. Well, it's kind of like a little arena, but it's basically you're near a castle. You can fly around. There are different pickups on the map that give you shields and stuff for your dragon. But basically, it's a 6v6 style game type. I've only played quick play in the tutorial so far. I haven't gotten to ranked. I'm scared. And you basically just fly around and you just shoot other dragons out of the sky, or you steal gold from other dragons that are like NPCs. And then you take it back to your base, and it's it's a lot of fun. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Servers are pretty good, and you can progress and rank up relatively quickly. It is also on Game Pass, or $60, I think, on Steam. Might be on sale, and it's just an overall good time, good vibe, arena flying game, and I'm having fun. There's definitely a skill gap for sure. And there's a lot of customizable options. Like, you can upgrade your dragon, change the color. You can give them better tails, like wings and stuff like that.
Oh.
So I've seen some just absolute monsters out there, and it's pretty cool. It gives you something a little bit to grind for.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. I have to check it out.
Yeah. Definitely check it out. But I think we've covered everything for this week, and I gotta go cook myself some dinner.
Oh yeah.
So, without further ado, it is the M2 podcast, and I was your host, Mad Mike, Mr. Kyle Heath. All the links are in the descriptions below. Check it out. Feel free to join the discussion. Tell us what you think, what you want us to cover, anything like that. So,
Yep.
Got anything to add, Kyle?
No.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Covered everything. Check the socials. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.